Three horizons thinking is about 3 lines on a sheet of paper. Each line represents a view of the future, and importantly, each of those versions of the future is present right now. William Gibson, the science fiction writer, famously said, the future is already here, it's just unevenly distributed. So those 3 lines are laid out on a 2-dimensional graph where the x-axis represents time and the y-axis represents the prevalence of a particular view of the future at any given time. We start with the first horizon, or H1, and that's the dominant model of the world at the moment. So if we're thinking about this transition towards zero carbon mobility, that's the system which is based on the burning of hydrocarbons in internal combustion engines. And it's maintained by the whole infrastructure of the oil and gas industry, of filling stations, of internal combustion engine technology. And that's the one which really has dominated the world of mobility for the last 100 years. But if we're thinking about changing it, it's for a reason. So one aspect of the first horizon is that it's always in some sense unfit for purpose. So for us, it's because that model is generating massive health problems in our cities and it's generating climate change as it pumps CO2 into the atmosphere. And then at the other end of the scale, the third horizon is about our vision of the future. So in this case, it's about clean, efficient, quiet mobility for all. Not driven by the internal combustion engine, but probably driven by battery technology or fuel cell technology, but something which doesn't have the downsides of the H1. And importantly, we often see pockets of that vision in the present. It may not be fully present anywhere, but we see bits and pieces of that where we can actually go and see. In this case, for example, Costa Rica is on track to having a zero carbon mobility system. And then in the middle, the second horizon is the entrepreneurial horizon of disruptive innovation. And that's really where we're working as change agents. And that's the landscape of all of the different initiatives which are seeking to address the problems in the first horizon and move us towards the third horizon. But there's an important nuance here, that some of the innovations in the second horizon, actually, if they succeeded, would help to maintain the status quo, whereas some of them, if they succeeded, would help to bridge to that third horizon vision. And let me give you a couple of examples of both. So in terms of what we call an H2 minus, well, synthetic fuels or carbon capture and storage in the trunk of your car or more efficient diesel, whilst they might be good in terms of reducing emissions from transport, wouldn't fundamentally change the technology or the power structure of the market. On the other hand, rapidly decreasing costs of battery technology, ride-sharing apps like Uber and Lyft, and policy innovations like ultra-low emission zones in London would all help move the whole system towards that third horizon vision. So there you have it. 3 horizons thinking, 3 lines on a piece of paper. In summary, the first horizon is the managerial system thinking of keeping the lights on, keeping the vehicles going. The third horizon is the vision of the future we want to create. And the second horizon is the landscape of disruption and innovation, where if we're clever and back the H2 plus initiatives, we'll be able to get towards the third horizon. But if we take our eye off the ball and focus on the H2 minus initiatives, we may end up prolonging the status quo. It's a simple matter